Welcome to another episode of Sub-Auteurs. We like movies. We are your hosts. I'm Misha.
I'm Mai.
And I'm Andrew.
Today we are trying to get away from the horrors of the real world by going into a horror film, part of a horror series that goes all the way back to 1996 and is somehow less scary than what's happening outside our doors now.
Wow, such escapism.
Yes!
I was gonna. Funny you said escapism because I was supposed to say something about escaping too.
Oh boy. Anyways, so let's get
Let's get what?
To the heart of the matter. Oh my god, you people. To the heart of the matter.
Okay,
Sure, Misha.
Not everything that comes out of my mouth is dirty.
okay, sorry.
Okay, sure.
Most lang siguro.
Okay.
Well, like 99% of the time.
Okay. So we'll take a stab at going to the heart of the matter. We're talking about Scream.
Yay!
And roll the music.
Wink. Whoops. Nope.
Wrong franchise.
Nope.
Wrong movie.
Right idea, wrong slasher. Today we are talking about Scream, the fifth film in the franchise that began with Scream. Oh my god, wait. Okay, technically, we're talking about Scream 2022, but moving forward, I think we're just going to call it Scream 5 from this point on, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. So we're talking about Scream 5. It is the latest sequel to the series that started in 1996, starring Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox. And what did you guys think about this? This is one of the longest running slasher horror movie franchises ever. What did you think?
Womp womp.
Well, I watched it. I watched it before rewatching the first four. Mm-hmm. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad, especially its play with, like the whole meta thing going on. It's a good rehash, but did it live up to its... I mean, did it live up to its predecessors? Obviously not, but it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't horrible, but
Yeah, it's watchable.
I had high hopes for it, considering that Scream 4 was one of my favorites from the entire series. And Scream 4 came 11 years after the last one. And it slayed!
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes,
Slay.
Okay.
But anyway.
What a Gen Z term.
Kasi Gen Z ako bakit? Char!
Okay, sure.
But I gotta say, with this one, I was kind of disappointed. I thought it was going to get somewhere good since they were still doing the whole meta thing. And what's interesting about it is that they contextualized it in current times for the trend that's maybe more updated for people who go watch movies now. And it's also riding the whole trend of reboots/sequels or reboot quells, as we called it before, and anything for the sake of nostalgia. But it didn't really get us there. It was, it was self-aware, but it wasn't as funny or exciting as the last ones.
Okay, here's the thing. I saw it without rewatching the first four. So at first, first impressions were, okay, it's self-aware. It's fine. It did hit the mark. However, when I saw the first four movies again, I was reminded of how brilliant Wes Craven was. And I think that this movie, without the guidance we lost Wes Craven in 2015. So without the guidance of Wes Craven, it didn't really live up to what it could have been like. But it was, this movie was obviously made by fans with good intentions towards the franchise and the genre in itself. I'd say it was decent. It could be a new era for the franchise, for a new generation of fans. But if you're an older fan, I think it's what the movie talks about, toxic fandom, which was pretty on the nose. Sometimes a little bit too tongue-in-cheek that it loses its flair.
Okay. Speaking as somebody who has loved this series since I was in 5th grade, I think, when it came out.
Wow, I was in grade 2, I think.
Good for you.
Laglagan na ba ito ng edad ulit?
No, we're not going there today.
I wasn't alive because I'm Gen Z nga, diba?
Oh my God.
Right.
You weren't alive in 1996. Okay, sure.
Joke lang.
what I was gonna say was, for me, I fell in love with the first Scream because, for anyone who doesn't know, these series are built on the premise that you have a ghost-faced killer, a guy in a ghost-faced mask who makes creepy phone calls right before he kills you, and the entire conceit of the series is the people he's hunting have seen every horror movie known to man. So they know all the cliches, all the stereotypes, all the tropes of slasher movies. So sometimes they use that information to stay alive, and other times they just walk into the same cliches that they were calling out. But the beauty of Scream 1 through 4, which were all directed by Wes Craven, who pretty much revitalized the slasher genre in the 80s with 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street. He made them smart and self-aware with screenwriter Kevin Williams, to the point that even if they were calling out the cliches, you didn't hate the film for using those same cliches. This new one, I think, is self-referential in the way the old ones were, being the first one that was made after Wes Craven died. Andrew's right, but there was just something missing for me. I was missing the
Wes
humor.
Craven?
I was missing Wes Craven because
Yeah.
he, even in his less successful films, not necessarily Scream, even if the story was bad, the pacing was always brilliant. The setups were always great. And I didn't feel that here. There was nothing exceptional about the kills. Maybe just one or two of them stood out, but I didn't. I get what they were trying to do by going after legacy sequels and toxic fandom, but it just felt like they were mentioning them for the sake of being trendy, or just for the sake of, because it's a Scream movie, they had to say those things.
I got
I think it's funny that you mentioned pacing issues, because that's after rewatching the first four and comparing it to the fifth one. It was, my issues were really more on the pacing of the kills and the timing of the jokes. Sometimes they would be a little bit too overextended.
Mhm.
It did hit a lot of it did miss a lot of marks. Sorry about saying hit, but
It's okay.
it did miss a lot of marks on the jokes. I don't want to say it because we'll talk about more of the jokes later. They're just ultimately failing in delivering. So yeah, I completely agree with you on the pacing issues, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
And it's so unfortunate that we saw this after Ghostbusters Afterlife, because
Right.
that was a reboot quel or a nostalgia trip done right. So
Or a requel,
we have
legacy-quel.
Legacy-quel.
whatever they called it. So it set the bar really high for these types of movies, especially that there is a slew of them coming in, like the Matrix Resurrections
Mhm.
and this, and Ghostbusters Afterlife has that trophy of like doing this right.
I will
So
say
we
this
can't help
though.
but compare.
I will
Okay.
say this though. I will
Mhm.
I will get this. I will take this over the Matrix
Oh yeah,
Resurrections.
Yeah,
for sure.
Me too. Okay, so let's talk about the story, okay? I already said earlier that this is about a ghost-faced masked killer who calls people on their landlines and makes threatening. I mean, that's how long ago this series started. It started in 1996, and they became infamous for opening the films with a young girl who's alone at home, and she picks up the phone and she hears a scary voice on the other end telling her that she's gonna die.
What's
And
your
then-
favorite scary movie?
And I gotta say, that guy has an awesome voice.
Yes, he does.
Now you just sound like Anna Faris when she was possessed.
Oliver.
Are you trying to remember Oliver's name?
So, sorry, not possessed. She just sounds possessed. Okay, so the ghost-faced killer likes to kill people with a flourish. She specifically goes after people who fit some kind of storyline or narrative that the killer or killers come up with in their head. And he's been doing this since 1996. And that movie, the first one, really broke ground for how smart it was. It featured kids at the time, high school kids, as the victims who had grown up on home video watching, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. They knew all the horror movie cliches. So that first movie really spoke to a very specific audience, and they ate it up. That was something different. It was something they'd never seen before. It was meta. Basically, what we loved about it back then was that it felt like it was really for us. And considering it was for somebody who helped start the slasher genre in the first place, that really made it feel kind of special. The new movie is a Lega sequel to that first movie, basically. So things happen here that have echoes to the first movie from 1996. It helps if you've seen it. It helps if you've seen all 5, actually, or all 4 before watching this one. But now, basically, the murders have started up again, and Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox's characters, Sydney and Gail, have to team up with their old friend, Sheriff Dewey, who's played by Courtney Cox's ex-husband, David Arquette, and try and stop the murders. Because the 3 of these guys, they've been there since day one. And joining them along the way are some new characters who are all as snarky and as meta as ever. And there's a couple of good kills in this one.
So, true to what they described as the legacy sequel kind of thing, it's a new cast of main characters with the OGs or the original cast members just hopping into the story and going in for the ride. But a big problem of mine personally with this new group of characters is I don't necessarily find any of them lovable or even likable. Like
I agree.
there might be one character that I ended up liking, but we'll get to that character later in the spoilers.
Something that I really appreciated about the Scream series, where from 1 through 4, and even to some degree this one, part 5, I like that they weren't just straight up slasher movies and they weren't just meta commentaries. It was also a mystery film in a way, because it always keeps you guessing until the final act who the actual killer or killers are. Mm-hmm. And the unmasking always became a fun part of the process. It was like basically an R-rated Scooby-Doo, you know?
Ruggy. Oh, Shaggy
well,
was...
it's kind of funny because Shaggy was in Scooby.
Oh my God, yes, he was. He was in the first one.
He was the killer in the first one.
So I wonder how that happens. Does he unmask himself and give himself a Scooby snack? I don't know.
He was amazing though, Matthew Lillard in the first one.
He
was frightening.
Insane.
Matthew Lillard has always been so underrated.
That melted my brain. No bullshit. I mean, that final act reveal of Matthew Lillard, and okay, it's a... this movie came out in 1996. If it's still a spoiler at this point, that's not our fault anymore. So Matthew Lillard and Neve Campbell's boyfriend in that movie, Skeet Ulrich.
Jughead's dad.
Hottie.
Jughead's dad from Riverdale. Skeet Ulrich.
Take note, Gen Zers. Jughead's dad.
Yep, Jughead's
Still
dad
somehow watching Riverdale.
was the young Johnny Depp lookalike boyfriend of Neve Campbell's character in the first movie.
He was so hot.
Yep.
First portion?
Yeah. Would you want the thirst
you want
portion
the first
now
portion?
or
that's,
later?
That's all I'm gonna say for Skeet
okay.
Ulrich for now.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure.
So yeah, Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard as the killers. They were just brilliantly revealed. It was brutal. It was shocking, and nobody saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, the shocks in the reveal, somehow they just didn't hit me the same way. I wasn't shocked.
Yeah.
Which made it all the more annoying because I literally, before watching this one, like 15 minutes before, 10 minutes before, I was on such a really, really good high because I had just seen part 4, and I swear I didn't remember anything about 4 except the first 10 minutes.
Brilliant.
And it was so good in revealing its killers, its plot, its mysteries. And being made in 2011, it had so much to say about influencer culture. Oh my God. I did not expect that.
And
the thing that I felt like with this one was that it was more of like a carbon copy of 1, but kind of hit the mark. Where if you're going to copy like information from one sheet to another, yung pala hindi naka-align yung papel sa ilalim ng carbon sheet. This is what it was to me.
And the annoying thing is, they already call out these tropes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is a very Scream thing in the first place naman. But then, I don't know, it was just lacking in a sense of, you have the setup, but the punchline was like as weak as if you were like just teasing somebody with a joke punch. Alam mo yun, parang, ikaw talaga, it's not like a kapow in your face.
What made the old ones fun was the fact that they could tear down all the stereotypes while somehow paying tribute to them. They would deconstruct it while still honoring it somehow. Mm-hmm. And you didn't feel cheated. Here, it just felt like they're referencing for the sake of sounding clever and not really paying off any of it. It's just like when it happened, it was like, you see, we did the thing.
I think there were stuff that were kind of acceptable, but then a lot of it didn't really hit the mark just because of how they overextended things. They had those callbacks about even mocking the son of 13 Reasons Why guy being the son of the sheriff.
Yeah, the deputy from part 4.
Like nobody would care to kill him just because, he's not a legacy character. He's a sequel character. But then, that was okay.
So, going back to unlikable new characters. This happens like as any Scream movie starts. Girl answers the phone, gets attacked by Ghostface and whatnot. So it starts off with Tara, a young girl alone at home and getting attacked, but she survives. So, well, that's kind of a new thing for the first kill, quote unquote. But she survives. But what happens is her estranged sister, Samantha, comes home upon hearing that her sister has been attacked. So they therefore conclude too that the killer is back. Because, it's been how many years since the last one. But this is where they realize that, oh shit, this killer is at it again. We need to ask the help of Dewey, or like a former sheriff, Dewey.
Introing the first legacy character.
Yes, so here we see the first legacy character. And eventually they'll find ways for Sydney and Gail to eventually join them in this search. But I guess that's where that's basically the story. Samantha is dubbed as the new Sydney, I guess, because it revolves around her and her family.
Final girl.
Yeah.
I thought kasi her name starts with the letter S, so Sydney.
Yeah, sure.
No.
So yeah, here comes the whole mystery again. Like, who did it? And somehow we're all involved in the first stab, quote unquote, because we're all somehow related to all the characters back then. So that's the mystery. Like, they're trying to figure out why this killer is killing off these new characters. And you also figure out how they're associated with the old ones for the killer to be attacking them, etc., etc., etc. So I guess after this, we can go to spoilers?
Yeah, I guess we could. Of the new characters, can I just say that I appreciated that they made efforts to give each of the new characters ties to the original films. Like you got Mindy and Chad, the twins, who are apparently the niece and nephew of Randy, Jamie Kennedy from the first 3 movies.
The movie nerd.
The movie nerd who knew all the rules of slasher movies. And holy crap, the guy played by Mason Gooding is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son. I did not see that one coming.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
what?
I know, right?
What? This is news to me.
No, the dude, the jock guy. He's Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son.
Wait,
So
as a
he is
Gen
not,
Zer,
Cuba
who's
Gooding
Cuba
Jr.
Gooding Jr.? Charot.
He's the guy who...
Oh my! If I said Jerry
I felt
Maguire's
hurt naman, diba? I
client,
started to explain, diba?
I was gonna say Jerry
Joke
Maguire's
lang.
client,
I
and I'm
know
like,
who
oh
it
no.
is. I'm not gonna pretend anymore for the sake of... I'm not gonna pretend I don't know because Cuba Gooding Jr. is fucking epic. But his son?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow, we're old.
Right.
Wow.
And
Wow. That's just like a true, that was a truth bomb right there.
That hit me harder than any of the jokes in this movie.
Yes. Thanks, Mai. Thank you so much.
yes, and of course Sam, the new Sydney is played by Melissa Barrera. You may have seen her in the Heights most recently. And she does what she can with the role, where she's trying to be all tough and different from Sydney, who is like, kind of a victim in her first movie, kind of helpless. But this one, Sam, they make a big point of trying to show Sam is all tough and she's not going to take shit from no Ghostface and she's going to protect her sister. But I just wasn't feeling her. She just came across as kind of annoying.
Yeah, I was so annoyed at her. Sorry.
Why are you saying sorry?
I was so annoyed. aside, okay, her backstory is kind of interesting though, because how it's revealed that she's associated with the older cast is that she is the somehow illegitimate daughter of the original killer. Si Skeet
Ulrich.
Skeet Ulrich or Billy Loomis. Yeah, si Pogi. Yeah.
Being, of course, a Halloween reference because Dr. Loomis was the one chasing Michael Myers in all those in the first couple of movies.
But yeah, she's the illegitimate daughter. So, and they're also showing this angle where she's taking mental. She has problems with her mental health. She's taking meds for it. So that's what people are saying. Like, ooh, aren't you might be the killer because you're the daughter of Billy Loomis. You know.
Yep.
So that's the angle given to her. So which is so interesting.
But that one, I mean, I like the thought of her being Billy's daughter more than the way they actually did it.
Yeah.
Because they revealed it like in her first 10 minutes of existence in the movie. So there was no suspense in her reveal. It just became a matter of time. And it wasn't even the good kind of reveal. You know, like how Hitchcock always said that you could put you could have people talking about the weather, talking about current events, talking about movies, just sitting around a table for 10 minutes straight. And then you blow up the table at the end of it and kills them all. And then you're shocked for 1 second. Or you can reveal to the audience that there's a bomb under the table. And for the next 10 minutes, the audience cannot breathe. In this case, I just didn't care that she was Billy Loomis's daughter. Revealing it early did nothing for me.
And the whole mirror thing.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
That was.
They were showing Billy Loomis as he died, as we last saw him,
all
in the
bloody.
same bloody T-shirt with his floppy boy band hair.
Older for some reason.
Older for some reason because they don't have the MCU budget for CGI facelifts.
Maybe that's why they put him in mirrors, just to somehow obstruct the age.
No, but
or you actually age in hell too.
that. I guess.
Yeah.
Being reamed by Hitler ages you, I guess.
Oh my god.
Oh God.
But okay, that's another thing. I like the idea of seeing Billy in her imagination better than the actual execution of it, because there's never been any form of magical realism in this series, so it just caught me off guard.
I actually like that they would only show him through mirrors.
Yes.
That was an interesting way of saying it. Like, oh, look at I'm in your blood.
He became a vampire? I am a vampire.
So when you look at yourself, you see me.
It just came off to me as like, a cheap way of her hallucinating.
Or a cheap way of getting a legacy cameo.
I don't know. I think it's better than her actually seeing him in the room. I thought that was a little clever, but that did not make me like her anymore, though.
No, maybe she could have acted like she had a bigger chip on her shoulder.
She could have acted. Period. Sorry.
Acted.
Which was so weird because she was fine in The Heights, and then she's so meh in this movie.
She had the same facial expression throughout. I don't know. Like, she's scared, same face. She's worried, same face. She's normal, same face. I don't know.
I will never forget something my mom said after seeing, I think, Scream 1 or Scream 2. And Neve Campbell's TV show was still on, Party of Five. And my mom complained about Neve Campbell. How come she always has this tortured face? And at least the tortured face has more character on it than this lady's.
Yeah.
Honestly. Parang mas na-appreciate ko si Neve Campbell seeing how much she did with such a, it could have easily been a one-dimensional role.
Yes.
If you're being chased by Ghostface every couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But she made us care about Sydney in those first 4 Scream movies. And then now the new character who's supposed to pick up the baton, the Rey, if this is the Force Awakens, she'd be Rey. And no, but The Force Awakens, for all of its flaws and shameless fan service that this movie couldn't even get right, did well in introducing the new characters, making us care about them and how they interacted with the legacy characters. Here, whenever she's interacting with Sydney or Gale, she's just annoyed at them. She doesn't want anything to do with them. She just wants to hang out with Dewey.
Why Dewey, though? Well, who doesn't want to hang out with Dewey? I like Dewey.
Yeah, I
He's a
like
nice
Dewey.
guy.
He made up for the first three movies, I think, in the fourth one. I really liked him in the fourth one. He had growth.
Yeah. Funny you mentioned something.
He was
about
less
growth.
incompetent in the fourth one, I think.
Yeah.
Still
But,
kind of incompetent though.
Well,
But
coming
whoever's
from the
associated
first
with
one though, right? I mean, like he was like the town idiot.
Yeah.
sheriff.
Whoever they try to associate with Samantha is always going to be more interesting than her. So sorry.
Like her boyfriend, played by Jack Quaid, who is Huey from
The Boys.
The Boys.
He was one of the bad kids from the Hunger Games too.
And her sister outacted her. Her little sister, Tara, who is played by Jenna Ortega. She actually was a great actress. Like I could feel her pain.
Oh my God!
Her constant pain.
I felt so bad for her.
That first sequence was like painful
Brutal.
to watch.
That was brutal.
In like the best way by it being effective.
It's like everybody who becomes Ghostface, has to one up the ones who came before because sequels you got to go bigger. And this Ghostface really wants to fuck you up. He doesn't just want to stab you a couple of times. Like things that Tara went through, I don't know how she was still alive after that opening. In fact,
it was kind of fun for me to watch all the the stabbing, and then there's this one moment when I just literally cringed and like balled up because I was so uncomfortable. Was when he stepped on her leg and
and the bone came out.
Yeah, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm dying again. I was like, shit.
You know what would have been interesting? I think. What if Tara was the final girl? Because
that would be so much more interesting.
They would have done the thing where you do your intro. Every scream opens up with some famous person, famous young woman, young actor who gets terrorized by Ghostface and they're dead. In the 1996 original, it was Drew Barrymore, and she was the most famous person on the poster. So nobody could believe it that she died in the first 10 minutes. It was shocking. So here, if you have somebody die in you have somebody who survives the first 10 minutes and then she lives on to become the final girl, that would have been a fun subversion of the trope.
Well, she wasn't that famous. Or is she famous to Gen Zers?
She's
I don't
okay.
know. You know how this felt to me?
She was the young Jane in Jane the Virgin.
This felt to me like, look at all the supposedly famous Gen Z people I do not recognize.
I only recognized one of them being
my God.
13 Reasons Why, dude.
Yeah, the 13 Reasons Why guy. And I guess Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
And Jasmine
Quaid,
Savoy Brown. She's in Yellow Jackets, which is excellent if you guys haven't seen it. It's an ongoing series. But anyways, what's your favorite intro in these Scream movies? What's your favorite pre-title kill?
4.
4.
Oh my
4.
God.
It just kept going and going and going. I was like, oh my God, when is this going to end? But I don't want it to end. It's just like a cycle of famous people killing each other. I
was
love it.
cackling. I was laughing so
fucking
hard.
Stupid in the best way. It was a gag and everybody was in on it.
You could name everybody in every fake out.
I know Anna Paquin, Kristen Bell.
It was so good.
Lucy Hale. Oh my God.
And I like that in the beginning of Scream 4, right? Just for if you guys haven't seen it, it opens the same way as the others. Young female actor at home alone picks up the phone, here's Ghostface. But in this one, we don't know until the end of the first kill that we're actually within one of the Stab movies that are based on the events that happen in the Scream universe. The Ghostface killings have been turned into a movie series called Stab. And we don't know, but when we watch the beginning of Scream 4, you're actually watching the beginnings of Stab 4, 5, 6. It is amazing.
It's so good.
I swear that beginning alone is gold. Even if the rest of the movie was garbage, which it's not. Oh my God.
Idea. What if they could have done the same thing, but like totally did a 180 on the trope by killing a guy first?
Oh my God. That would be cool.
That would be fun.
Some up and coming,
This is the new gen thing. So the boys get killed first now.
So it has to be a hot guy. Like maybe in shorts or with a towel around his neck and picks up the phone.
Yeah.
That's pretty descriptive coming from you, Misha.
I'm down for that.
No, I'm just saying, how many,
Yes, I know,
how
setting
many
the tone.
years have we watched, people like hot young girl come home, take off all their clothes, but leave the lingerie on, and
Or
then
their
pick up the
bathrobe.
phone or their bathrobe and
Yeah.
then pick up the phone.
Yeah, make it a
that's very
joke.
I don't
true.
know where
Make it
you
a do.
live, but in my experience, when women get home, the first thing to go is the bra. You know, they're not going to stand around in their bra to wait to answer the phone for no serial killer.
Yes.
Why you know this is
Yes.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
just going
question
to say
it, but
yes.
it's true.
I'm just
I know that to be
saying.
true. I know that to be true.
But,
But hello, diba?
Yes, I
love
would
that.
totally watch a movie where a young
parang
dude gets murdered in the first.
Do away
Yeah.
with the Scream Queens and introduce a Scream King.
Yeah.
Right?
So whoever, just so you guys know, this is not a spoiler, but apparently this movie Scream 5 did so well, they've already approved Scream 6
No.
and 7 to
well,
complete the saga.
well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, like it. People liked it well enough for 2 sequels, for a trilogy to be signed on.
But I didn't
you know.
like it.
I didn't like it either.
Well, we
I'm-
don't speak for the masses though. Like some people might like it.
Okay,
I mean-
I'm gonna think of it as like how I didn't like 3 very much.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't like 3.
I didn't like 3.
I didn't like 3.
So when 4 happened, I was happy because
It was so good.
yeah, 4 made up for how shitty 3 was. But hopefully, if they do make a 6, it'll do the same and make up for how shitty 5 was.
You know what?
Okay.
Actually, rewatching 3 and trying to remember how I watched this, I kind of remember watching this and messaging and going on Instagram, and that was the same way I was watching 3 because I couldn't take my eyes off of 1 and 2 and 4.
Let's go back a little bit, okay? Scream 2 made fun of sequels in general, okay? You have characters literally calling out, when has a sequel ever been better than the first one? And it made for a wonderfully self-aware experience. Scream 3, apparently, when Scream 3 was being made, the Columbine school shootings had happened in the United States. So they had to throw out their entire story because the
Oh.
studio asked
Oh.
for something more lighthearted. So if you notice, part 3 has a lot more slapstick, especially with Dewey and Gale in the final act. They're just idiots
Like
in
her
that big
bangs?
house.
Yes,
And her bangs, yes,
Her
Courtney
bags were
Cox
slapstick.
has the ugliest bangs known to humankind in Scream 3. And something interesting is that, you know, the first 4 films were actually produced by Harvey Weinstein,
Ooh.
the Harvey Weinstein Company.
Ooh.
And he was the one who insisted that the third movie had to be a little bit funnier and a little bit sillier because the mood in America was really heavy around the time. And that is what made making a 5th Scream movie challenging after part 4 was because that's around the time that the Me Too movement really, really came down on Harvey Weinstein. And basically nobody wanted to be involved with him, you know, or do something that would put money in his pocket.
Mhm.
But the think piece that came out recently was talking about, with all this new renewed interest, they're saying like maybe the director and the screenwriter were trying to say something with Scream 3 by making an evil producer who was preying on young starlets in exchange for a career and all that stuff. Maybe they were trying to push back against the studio when they wrote that movie. It was a big middle finger because it's just
possibly.
it's so dumb. Part 3, like a house explodes.
I
Why does
hate
a
it.
house explode?
Okay, to be fair, I liked 5 more than 3.
Yeah, I think
That's a bold statement.
I honestly
I'm trying to think if I agree. Yeah, I think maybe because at least 5 has ties to the first movie, and part 3 has fucking Jay and Silent Bob in it for no reason. Like
Well,
fictional characters, actual fictional characters from another movie. It doesn't
Well,
make
you know,
sense.
Okay,
well,
taking out
characters wise, I did enjoy 3, but I guess overall,
But
5 was
dreamy?
more fun.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, or I can't really say.
No,
They're
what
both
you-
bad. They're both bad, but
they're-
maybe I
they're
just
both-
enjoyed 5 more.
I think because 3, because I think you also, I guess, have to put the time, the time that you've seen 5, comparing it to the time that you've seen 3. 5 has been, how many years has it been since 4? Nearly 10 years since 4 came out. Or wait,
11.
It's been 11 years. It's been 11 years since 4 came out. So I guess it was kind of fun to have some of the callbacks, even if the deliveries for a lot of them weren't that great. It was still kind of fun to kind of pinpoint connections
Okay.
from the new characters or the new events in the same town with the old movie. So I guess there was that fun that fun thing to kind of like, oh, I know that. Oh, because I saw the first 4 movies, I know what happened in the past. Oh, so I guess that was a kind of
I really want to agree with you, but I don't know. I'm not crazy about the way they used some of the old stuff here in this one.
Maybe I don't know. I can't pinpoint why. I guess I enjoyed 5 more than 3.
I guess there's
Kasi honestly, medyo na-bore ako sa 3.
yeah, 3 was
3 bored me, 5 annoyed me. There, that's the difference.
3 was trying too hard, I think, to have connections to it's trying to open up the mythology of the Scream universe, part 3. And it really didn't work for me.
Yun lang yung sa akin. I'd rather be annoyed than bored.
Have you guys entertained the idea of the fact that you guys were just probably too bothered by the bangs on Courtney Cox?
Hindi naman.
To like 3.
Hindi naman. More of, yun nga, parang sinabi ko, I'd rather be annoyed than bored.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we
At
talk
least may
about
emotion.
Let's talk about the treatment of the legacy characters, because if you remembered The Force Awakens, the cinema cheered when they saw the Millennium Falcon, when they saw Han Solo and Chewbacca, or even Ghostbusters Afterlife. We fucking cried like babies when we saw, the old guys in the last 5 minutes. So it was never a question of whether or not to include the old characters. It's just, how they're used. And in this movie, the old characters are actually around a lot more than the Ghostbusters were in Afterlife. But for some reason, it just didn't hit the same way.
Ooh, I kind of liked how they were going to use Dewey and then ultimately just threw away the character. Just like that. I didn't like the end use.
For everyone who may not know, Courtney Cox and David Arquette actually used to be married in the 90s. That's why there was that episode of Friends after they got married where everybody was given the surname Arquette, everyone in the cast.
That was cute.
They got divorced, and this movie, Scream 5, kind of mirrors that in that Dewey and Gail are no longer together. She is a successful morning show host. She's moved out of the small town where he was the sheriff, and he's now just an alcoholic recluse who the new characters pull out of retirement to help them find Ghostface.
Well,
what happens to Dewey in this movie?
I kind of enjoyed that though. Like I kind of enjoyed the interaction between Courtney Cox and David Arquette. Provided that in real life they are divorced, but they still do continue to work together because they own a production company.
Mm-hmm. I liked that character development of Dewey. I liked seeing him at his low point because it gave him more depth than he's had ever, I think. Yeah. And David Arquette was acting his butt off. He really misses Gail. You could really see that. Dewey is sad.
Is that a reflection of what's happening in real life?
I honestly don't know.
We can't speak for him, but he did a good job in convincing us that.
Yeah, I mean, for someone who was introduced as a joke character and just became, every Ghostface's favorite punching bag.
Oh my god!
After that, at some point, I think he says he's been stabbed 9 times.
The guy's a fucking badass at this point. That's why seeing Dewey is damn. It's this guy. This guy
he's evolved. He's
4
grown.
ghost faces.
But that's what makes his ending so bad.
I know because
I agree.
When he finally gets into the action, when he finally agrees to help these kids and they start facing off against Ghostface, I was thinking, I hope to God, please God, can you stop stabbing him? It's like he's been through so much in the first 4 movies. Can he not get stabbed for once? But lo and behold, he dies.
Yep,
that's why they're gonna stop stabbing him. That's one lap.
At this point,
Dewey.
You'd think he would be smarter. You think he would aim for the head to begin with. You think he'd know better than to turn around at any point. He knows they're always gonna get back up. And for me, look, okay, Tara was injured. She was bleeding from I don't know how many wounds she had at this point. And Samantha is carrying her. The boyfriend, Richie, he's also bleeding out. They're all stumbling in the elevator. And then Dewey decides to leave them behind after putting a few bullets into Ghostface. He's like, I gotta go back because
idiot.
The killer always gets up again. I'm like, dude, you should have done a headshot to begin with.
Yep. And
then he goes back. Why did he get in the elevator? he had to protect those people. What if Ghostface got away? What if Ghostface took the stairs, meets those people in the car park?
That would be funny.
And then Dewey's like, oh, where'd he go? I guess he did get up. My bad. Come on, Dewey, you know better. And they'd already kind of set it up in a clever way by having fans complain about the latest Stab reboot. Stab with an 8 for a B. Stab 8. Stab part 8. State. Saying now the killer has a new weapon. So, when the killer does reveal a new weapon to take out Dewey, that should have been a really cool moment. Sorry, Dewey, all respect. But the moments leading up to it made no sense. They made Dewey an idiot for the sake of a joke.
Exactly. That's why I didn't like the way he went out.
But it looks pretty awesome on its own.
It does. It does fine. It was a glorious kill. Fine. It was a glorious kill.
They didn't earn it. They didn't earn it.
But they didn't earn it because, Dewey, after everything that Dewey's been through, and you did say it, like, you've seen his character evolve. He's actually a freaking badass, by now. Like, he knows well enough to carry a piece.
Yep.
Because he needs it.
With extra bullets.
With extra bullets. Because, he's prepared.
Yes.
And he does this whole thing where he turns his back on the fucking killer.
And then
I think fucking stupid.
This is a part of it. You remember how I talked about the way Wes Craven would handle his pacing? So even if it was a bad movie, you'd have good flow. He also knew how to set up an action sequence, a slasher horror sequence. In this one, people have entire conversations or moments when the killer is like 3 feet away and doing absolutely nothing. Or somebody is fighting a killer and his friends are 3 feet away and doing absolutely nothing to help them. So I was like, the hell is going on? It just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. It's like they looked at the first 4 movies, they saw what they did, they think, oh, we can do that. And then they just tried to copy it without trying to think about why they were doing those things.
I'm telling you, carbon copying it without aligning the paper.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
That's it.
I wanted, in a perfect world, we would all be crying for Dewey. We wouldn't be like, the fuck did we just see?
That's what 5 is essentially. Like, it does hit, like if you're going to be shading or filling in boxes in a form and using a carbon sheet to do on multiple forms, the first thing you do is check if everything aligns. In this case, you don't. Because it hits some spots, but a lot of it just don't hit the mark.
Yeah, when you should have been sad that Dewey is unfortunately dead and, hacked to death.
Right.
You're not sad. You're annoyed because he made this like really stupid decision that's so out of character.
Yeah, it just
because you already gave him this. You already gave him this growth from 1 to 4, and then 5. You give this broken shell of a man who kind of maybe wants to get his life back, or maybe his wife. But then you just end him like that. Based on a stupid decision to go back. I mean, that doesn't do Dewey any justice.
Based on this stupid decision to go back, which he shouldn't have, done in the first place.
Absolutely. And then what happens next, should be heartbreaking theoretically when you see Gail get the news. And, I like the way that she sells the moment. Like, she falls to her knees or something because her face can't move anymore after all this,
I knew it.
Courtney Cox's face doesn't move anymore.
At some point. I
It's-
knew that Courtney Cox's face was going to come out at some point.
It's not my fault. Okay, and it's not fine. She says it's not her fault either. She said it was years of Hollywood pressure that she should look a certain way.
Well,
And it's
sad.
only recently that
That's
she
sad.
said no more.
Then it's just surgeon's fault because look at J-Lo.
Or look at,
Or maybe Jennifer Aniston. at
Jennifer
least.
Aniston, yes. I mean, or no, not Nicole Kidman. Not so much. Not so much. I mean, but still better than what Courtney Cox got.
Yeah.
But I bought it where her character, Gail, was sad for the man who was her husband. Because I think on some level she still loved him. She just couldn't deal with living in a small town.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I was sad for her. And I was thinking like, oh no, is Gail gonna die too? Because they might go for this whole romantic, oh, we're both dead and we'll be together in heaven, blah blah blah. Or hell, I don't know.
Well, we got 2 more sequels. I give her until maybe the last one before she dies. If she dies.
No. I think she's
Or
going to
she'll die in the next one, and then Neve Campbell can die in the last one.
Yes. No, I don't think they'll kill Neve Campbell in the last one.
Can we get the Neve Campbell?
Yeah, she looks great.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, but wow.
Aren't we all Team Neve Campbell since 96?
Yeah, I guess.
Obviously.
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
Neve Campbell, I also like how Sydney has evolved after 5 exhausting movies of being the target. She has some balls here. She has fucking balls here.
And she has daughters. She has like a baby. She has girls that she has to drop off at school. And based on the phone conversation she had, she married McDreamy from part 3.
Good for her.
She says hi to Mark like at some point, So she's grown. She's no longer the victim.
Yeah.
She's no longer your run-of-the-mill final girl. And I love that bit in the R-rated trailer where she says, "I'm Sydney Prescott. Of course I have a fucking gun."
Yeah.
Because
Sydney,
that is a trailer line right there.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
And
I'm
you
so
can
happy.
believe that. I loved that. What I didn't love was her, Sydney and Gail strolling up to the house for the final confrontation and immediately screwing it up. Because they built up that these two already know what they're doing. They're badasses. When the killer comes stumbling out covered in blood, asking for help, they're all like, "Trap? Yup." But they keep going anyway, and Gail gets shot on the spot. So I thought you guys were badasses 10 seconds ago.
They could have had a nice gun, like they could have had a nice gun exchange or shootout. There you go. But then no.
Oh well.
Well, I like the fact that she addressed that it was a trap first, but then proceeds
Then
to
she
walk
fell
very
for it
slowly.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Gail fell for it.
I liked it in a very satirical kind of like way.
Yeah, but Gail was the one who affirmed that it was a trap.
Kaya nga, it was kind of dumb.
Although I do love how much ass Sydney kicks in the final takedown.
Sydney's amazing. Sydney's awesome.
It's like this girl has learned well after all that. She kicks ass, she shoots a gun.
And she's a mom.
Yeah.
If you all notice, we're spending more time with the old characters because
the new ones are boring.
The new ones kind of suck, guys. They really do. They're all trying so hard, but they're really boring. Basically, they are all the snarky movie nerd.
Okay.
There's no differentiation.
Fine. Getting to the new characters, I only liked one, and I really liked her. And it just so happened that the lead character and the group of friends are so boring that the most interesting one turned out to be the killer. and this is Amber. Right. This is Amber, the bitchy friend who's always been shading the big sister. Right. And you can kind of see a sinister look in her. And she's a good actress. She's played by Mikey Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just so effective in being that bitchy girl. But
she's the annoying bitchy girl.
Yeah, but I wasn't annoyed. I was, the others were just so boring that I ended up liking the bitchy one. And she turned out to be the killer. And for once, when she is revealed to be the killer, I'm like, yes, bitch, stab them all. They're so boring.
I kind of like Tara more because Tara's the punching bag in this movie. And somehow, some way, she just keeps getting up.
It was more like Taro is the new Sydney, not Samantha.
I would prefer this. Maybe they'll pull a switch on us, like in the next movie. Sam will just be like in a phone call cameo, and it's all about Tara. I going to college. I would watch that.
I would watch that. I like Tara as a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did too, but I don't know.
After the hot guy gets killed in the opening.
Yes.
Yes. But for some reason, I just enjoyed Amber so much for some reason, and she goes out in such an epic way. I love how she.
I like that kill.
I know. I love how she dies the first time, quote unquote, because they always get up. She gets shot by Sydney and Gail, and then for some reason the stove is open behind her, and when she falls back, she just suddenly bursts into flames.
Because she's covered in hand sanitizer.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
I was like, I did not see that coming, but I approve.
Best kill.
You see what I mean? Like, this movie isn't perfect, but it does have its good points. It's not like it's the Matrix Resurrection where it just tries to be number one and misses the whole point entirely.
Can I just say though, the second killer, Richie, played by Jack Quaid, I didn't buy him or I didn't care for him as the second killer at all.
Yeah, I was when it was Amber, it was like ooh, but then when they finally revealed that Jack Quaid is the second one. I'm like, okay.
I was like, okay. Because okay, as far as second killers go, you had Matthew Lillard in the first movie.
Really?
Amazing. In the fourth movie, you had Rory Culkin, who was brilliant. Rory Culkin totally blindsided me in the fourth one. I did not see that coming.
Me too. I was shooketh. And when he killed Hayden Panettiere, I was like, no!
Yes. Oh my God. I wanted him to end up with her. What the hell, man?
Well, I wanted Hayden Panettiere's character to be gay because she was giving off that butch energy and it was so hot. I don't know.
We're back to the third portion, folks. Okay,
Yes!
Go for it. Yes, Hayden Panettiere was holy
so
crap.
hot.
Yes, she was.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, that was quick.
Would you watch her in Bring It On, whichever?
No!
Bring It On
No,
movie she was
no.
in?
You said we never talk about that horrible crumping shit again.
Okay.
Not crumping.
I just wanted to be clear.
I'm just
wanted to
gonna
be
say
clear.
that she's the hottest she's ever looked to me in Scream 4.
With the short hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've never seen that movie before until last week or the other
Until
day.
recently, yeah.
Yeah? So
Yeah.
were you surprised?
I was turned on.
I'll
Safe
take
to
that
say
as a
she was
yes.
surprised.
Yep. Very good.
Safe to say.
And I like
Hayden,
that
I love
they
you.
made a point of when Hayden Panettiere again she was one of the designated movie nerds in part 4, but it didn't feel derivative.
See, she was that hot and she's the movie nerd. Like, oh my God.
And they tried to make her and they gave her a haircut that looked completely different from her character in Heroes. So that in the same way that they used Sarah Michelle Gellar as a brainless frat girl in the second movie,
Be my girlfriend.
right? I mean, I like how these movies generally flip them on their head, flip their traditional roles on their heads.
And and Kristen Bell, who's usually known as the sweetheart, she ends up stabbing Anna Paquin.
That was awesome. But which brings me back to Jack Quaid. He was just boring. I'm sorry. He was so boring in this movie as the boyfriend.
And if I were Sam and ganun yung boyfriend ko na parang I just got attacked in the hospital cafeteria. And what the fuck were you doing? Just watching Netflix? Useless. But yeah, he turns out to be the killer. And they do point out that, you should expect it because, it's always the love interest. It's like, yeah, but...
I like a movie.
What I did like about these two pairing up together is the reality and how some forums become breeding grounds for crazy people. Because I think they if I remember correctly, they met each other on like a Reddit or a subreddit.
Yeah,
about the
but they
stab
already
movies.
did that in the second movie with Billy's mom meeting her
Classmate.
accomplice like on a message board. So been there, done that like 20 years ago.
Message board, dial-up internet.
Good God.
Wouldn't it be like a fun twist if it was like just one killer pala? It's like, ooh.
Just for a change.
For a change lang. But then, I don't
And
know.
that's Scream, eh?
And he has nothing to do with anybody's past history.
Wala lang. Psycho lang talaga siya.
But then it wouldn't be Scream.
Wala lang. Feeling ko fun lang. I don't know.
It would,
Well, not everything has to revolve around Sydney fucking Prescott.
She's so tired na, guys. Pagod na siya.
Kaya nga
Tapos i-extend niya pa hanggang 7.
Oh my God.
Siguro nga, like, this might be the movie where they could just hand off the reins to the new cast members. Hopefully it's Tara, not Sam. But,
Or they can start from scratch. I don't mind.
Yeah, because it's like it's they've started from scratch. Don't bring up the TV series. That was starting from scratch.
They didn't even have the Ghostface mask in the series. What the hell?
So
In the
why would
TV
you call
show?
it Scream? But anyway, this is like a good handoff. They have legacy characters. The spirit of the original movie was in this one. It was well intentioned enough, but it has a lot of parts where it fell short. But overall, it wasn't that bad.
Well, I don't know. In terms of like the killer reveal, I would parang Amber's personality and overall craziness. Like you see the crazy eyes when she starts. When it's revealed that it's her. She was doing the heavy lifting in terms of killer psychoness because Jack Quaid wasn't really much. And like comparing it to the first one, Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich were both equally insane So parang it's good sana to if you are going to go with two killers, at least make them both at par with each other, just like the sequels did, because both of the killers were just equally as crazy. And then I'm sorry, Jack Quaid, but you just didn't match. You just didn't match Amber, who now actually reminds me of Bella Porch for some reason.
What? No.
Really?
Yeah, she
No.
does.
What?
Yeah,
I
No.
don't see it.
What? It's
Jack Quaid
glaring.
from The Hunger Games was scarier than he was in this movie.
I swear, going back to Bella Porch, she looks like a psycho. She looks like a psycho Bella Porch. But anyway, I also want to get to a missed opportunity because I
Okay.
know this wanted to be a tribute to Wes Craven because obviously he did
Yes.
amazing in the first four and he was revolutionary for the genre. But they happened to name one of the characters Wes, and he is the son of the lady cop, see Judy.
Yep.
Yeah,
the
she
She
sheriff,
was now the sheriff.
Yeah,
she
who
was
is
a
now the
deputy
sheriff.
in part 4.
who I mistook as Heather Graham.
Yes, you did. That was so weird.
But funny when you actually saw Heather Graham in one of the movies, and then
Yep.
it's like, oh, that's
Yes.
not her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they named one of the characters Wes in tribute, I guess. But I feel like if you are to make this character a tribute to the original director, at least make his kill epic.
I
'Cause-
hated his kill.
He was just like, okay, chased in his room, stabbed. All right.
Yep.
All right, that's it. But I thought it was gonna be set up to be something good because before he dies, the killer's on the phone with his mom, and he's saying that, "Oh, I'm watching your little boy right now," and you know the movie Psycho because he was in the shower, and I was like, "Ooh, are we gonna get a really cool shower kill? It could be like an homage to Psycho, or like a really awesome bloody kill in the shower to like in memory of how Wes Craven can be like pretty creative with the kills, but no.
I appreciated the gag at first, and then they did it 2 more times, and then by then I was like,
What guy?
Yeah. When the character of Wes is left at home, his mom went to pick up their lunch, went to pick up their sushi. So Wes is left at home to set the table.
Oh yeah. The opening stuff.
So they do stuff like he opens the fridge door, and the framing of it is so that you expect somebody to be behind the fridge door when he closes it. So you're like, ooh, okay, that was kind of clever. But then he does it with a cupboard. Then he does it with a pantry door, and then he does it with like 3 other doors. So the gag gets really old, and it's like it was funny the first time, but it's like the rest of this movie.
After the third time, it's just not. I mean, man, just get on with it.
It's like the rest of the movie. You know what they're going for, but it could have been done better.
And who the fuck reaches for sriracha when you're eating sushi?
I know,
What's wrong
right?
with you people?
What the
America.
hell? Come on, white people. I'm sorry, but seriously,
Soy sauce and wasabi, guys.
sriracha. Jeez.
Why?
Okay, if you don't have wasabi on hand, okay,
It's like you're trying to start a war.
horseradish. Horseradish is the closest thing, and even that is a sin.
But when it came to the murder of the sheriff, I didn't. It's like Dewey. I didn't feel anything because they hadn't really done a good job of setting up that she was Wes's mom in the first place. Before Wes actually said that, "Hey, my mom is a legacy character." I'm like, "Who the hell's your mom?" Because we only find out who his mom is later on.
Yeah, when they're at home and then she comes from a phone call and then Wes walks in. Parang, okay.
It's like that would have been useful information earlier.
You kind of figure out that who his mom is, because she shows up in school in the start when they were talking.
Somebody
When
had just
they
been
were mocking him.
stabbed. Somebody had just been stabbed. Of course, she was at school.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
That's when, because they show the part where she tried to say hi to him, then he just avoids her altogether.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've been trashing it a little bit, and I kind of want to get to the parts that we liked.
Okay. I love the font for the credits.
Fun for the credits.
No. Okay, I'm kidding. Sorry.
I also like. I actually love how they all have androids. Because if you didn't know, if you didn't know, Apple has this clause that villains or bad guys cannot have iPhones.
Yes.
So everybody in this movie has an Android, and you clearly cannot tell which one is the bad guy, because that's what the fun is about here in these Scream movies. Like, it's like
That's
figuring
true.
out who the killer is. So I did appreciate that they were all using Androids. Like, fuck,
So-
I can't tell which is.
And so our listeners now know, like, every time they watch a slasher flick, they'll just watch out for whoever is not holding an iPhone.
Yeah. Or maybe that was intentional. They it's like they couldn't get Apple. I don't know.
That is
But
true.
I just love that little tidbit.
I honestly love the marketing of this. They came out with a typical cast poster, and the tagline on the poster is "The killer is on this poster." I really like that. That was
That's good.
funny. I expected that level of smart from the movie.
Yeah. How about you, Anjo?
Well, I mean, like, because I had to go through the 4 movies again after watching this, so it just what did I like? I liked it when Amber dies. I like that kill. I also
See,
kind of
Amber
like.
That was a
the
good
best.
kill. That was a
I
good
love
kill.
Yeah.
Amber. I
and
love
I
Psycho
also-
Bitch.
I actually just really like the intro when Tara was getting murdered, so to speak. That's pretty, and Dewey.
I liked seeing where the legacy characters are at this point in their lives.
Yes,
I like
that-
the sheriff Judy. You know, she was the deputy in the last one. Now she's the sheriff. I like seeing Dewey as a broken guy because it gives him depth. I like seeing Gail hosting a morning show because that's pretty much where she was headed. Right? You know, she used to just handle fluff pieces, and then she became famous by writing a book about the first Scream murders. That became a movie series called Stab that got rebooted, which inspired the killings in this movie. I liked seeing that. I liked seeing where Sydney is at this point in her life, married to McDreamy, even if we never see McDreamy.
Boo.
He's in her dreams.
I even kind of liked seeing that random out of nowhere cameo of I like seeing the cameo of Randy's sister who came out of nowhere in part
Yeah.
3 because she's the mother of the twins. So I was like, and she has a literal shrine to Jamie Kennedy in their house, which is bizarre to me.
See, what's her name?
Martha.
Best friend niya, no, Anne Hathaway sa Princess Bride.
Yes.
Heather Matarazzo.
Yes,
Yes.
Heather Matarazzo. I like her.
I was surprised. Mukha na siyang nanay.
Well, malamang
Well,
nanay yung
she's playing a
character
mom,
niya.
right?
But she was in the Princess Diaries.
Okay.
Well,
I also love how the things Misha liked about it are still the OG characters.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
But it's
I do
true.
not like the fact that it is, emphasizing our age. Stop!
Okay. I as much as I really didn't like Samantha's character at all, I had zero sympathy for her.
She had a nice leather jacket.
But literally the only part I liked her in was when she went ham in stabbing the life out of her boyfriend.
Oh yes.
when Skeet Ulrich finally gives her the go, because all this time he was haunting her and saying like, oh, get revenge, kill whoever attacked your sister, blah blah blah. Don't be afraid of who you are, blah blah blah. And she finally embraces that. And
Yes.
and when she does acknowledge like never mess with the daughter of a serial killer and like just like stabs him in the face, that was like, oh, okay, I like you for that. For those like
that,
30
like,
seconds.
30 seconds.
For those
only-
30
yep.
seconds of you
Yes.
stabbing the shit out of him and shooting him.
Okay.
And then
yeah,
she's
it was
back with
kinda
her bland
cool.
expression.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's it. That's as far as my like for Samantha goes.
I mean, like, there's...
And there's Tara, I guess. I like her.
I like Tara. Like, Tara, I think, is my favorite character just because of how fucking... In for the lack of a better term, how fucking makunat she is.
I
Like, she gets
how-
thrown around and, she's walking around in freaking crutches. She gets...
she's been stabbed in the gut like 8 times, but she's still putting up a fight, even if she's been punched in that wound.
And Amber just wails, or who wasn't even clear if it was Amber who wails on her, who steps on her ankle. Ooh.
Oh yeah, we're not sure if it's Amber or
Richie.
Richie at this point.
Yeah.
Not yet. But it was Amber who killed Dewey.
I'm still mad
Yes.
about that.
It's not It's Doo's fault.
And continuing the tradition of naming characters with on-the-nose names, like Anthony Anderson in the fourth movie, who played a cop named Perkins after Anthony Perkins, who was Norman Bates, the killer in Psycho. Tara and Samantha have the last name of Carpenter, like John Carpenter, who directed Halloween, because again, subtlety does not exist in this universe. So I guess the only question left is, would you guys recommend Scream 5?
I would. I mean, to be fair, to be honest, I would actually recommend it because, it somehow kind of revitalizes the franchise. I mean, it's been a decade already.
I wouldn't say revitalizes. Maybe just like revives it.
Or maybe like it kicks up interest in 1 through 4, so at least people will watch the good ones.
Well, yeah, it's not the worst one in my opinion.
4.
1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4.
It's not the worst one in my opinion. I think it generates enough interest in it. I like the fact that it was well intentioned. It captures the spirit of the first movie, but it does miss a lot of marks. It's not the best. It's not the best movie. It's not the best slasher movie out there. But it's still an okay watch. It's still a good watch.
You know what I think? I think that it got great reviews and it made a ton of money because people that was the only thing showing after Spider-Man. That's why. It came out a month after Spider-Man. There was nothing else showing and people were like, "Oh, this looks familiar." And it had enough callbacks that even if you hadn't memorized 1 through 4, it had enough callbacks to make you feel clever and nostalgic.
It kind of had to re-educate you about what was in 1 to 4. It kind of felt that way because it had so much callbacks that were so on the nose. It wasn't subtle at all.
But
I finally found the word to describe the whole thing. Why it didn't feel natural was because it just felt so contrived. You knew that they're forcing and writing all these things in it. It felt so contrived. That's why for me it did not hit all the marks on the checklist for it to become a great reboot, legacy quel.
That's my problem with it, that it felt like they were making it off a checklist. We have to have snark. We have to have meta humor. We have to have gruesome kills. We have to have a first act murder of somebody who's home alone, stuff like that. And I just didn't feel that this one pushed it far enough. If you look at the first 4, each one was trying to do something different. In fact, that's why there was an 11-year gap between 3 and 4. Because Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson, the original screenwriter of the first movies, they wanted to have something to say with each one, and it took them time to find it for part 4. For part 5, it felt like they had half of an idea of what they wanted to say, but they weren't smart enough or witty enough to execute it properly. And that's kind of sad because the directors of this one, that's Matt Bettinelli Open and Tyler Gillette, they did Ready or Not, which I
love that movie.
I loved it. That was that was funny, that was bloody, that was brutal. And I didn't see that here.
I think there might have been a difference between trying to pick up off of another director's work and clearly they're not built the same way that Wes Craven did. That's why I think it was a well-intentioned movie, but it, ultimately just did not live up to expectation.
Okay. What do you got? I mean, would you recommend this to anyone?
No.
Oh, that was easy.
It's not a waste of time, but unless you're familiar with the whole franchise, then fine. If you want to continue on and see where the characters go, then fine. But if you're starting off with this, I just don't see myself saying, "Oh, Scream 5 is out, watch it." Not really. It's just lackluster. It's whelming. It's whelming. It's not overwhelming. It's not. Well, maybe it is underwhelming for me a little bit.
It's a lot underwhelming.
Yeah, so not really. So I would only, I guess, recommend it if you kind of want to see where the Scream franchise goes, but only for that reason. I'm sorry.
I mean, David Arquette has nice facial hair.
That is nice facial hair is not enough to save the movie.
Okay. Seeing as we watched 1 through 4 to prepare for 5, how would you guys rank the 5 Scream movies?
1, 4, 2, 5, 3.
I think same. I have the same idea. 1-4-2-5-3 or 3-5 kind of.
I am only ranking 1 over 4 just because without 1 we wouldn't be having 4. Does that make sense?
But 4. But 1 really laid the groundwork.
Yes,
it did. It was a really solid foundation for 2 and 4 to happen.
That is true.
But I was more entertained with 4.
I think I'd take 3 over 5. I would go 1, 4, 2, 3, 5.
Wow, we're really bad at math.
Only because. No, only because 1 is what you said, a great foundation. 4 is just a straight up fucking brilliant sequel. I don't care how you cut it. Emma Roberts is the greatest fucking thing in that movie.
Oh my god, she's amazing.
Emma Roberts is great in any movie.
Holy shit!
Holy shit! Emma Roberts was amazing.
Were you cringing as hard as I was when she was beating herself up?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was insane.
Like imagine.
And she had the whole crazy eyes thing going. I'm like, oh fuck, she's so good.
See, that's what was missing from Jack Quaid.
I couldn't believe that he would do those things. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's not psycho enough.
Nope.
And Emma Roberts was like, sugar and spice and all things nice up until that point. So it was like, that was a real heel turn. But with Jack Quaid, nothing. It was just like, oh, he's a killer. Okay, I get it. That's why I got to put 5 at the bottom.
For only the reason I mentioned earlier, I'd take annoying over boring. So that's why I put 5 over 3.
Yeah, I guess.
3 was just really...
3 has those horrible bangs on Courtney Cox.
I don't know.
But it also has... But it has that, a sexual predator Hollywood producer getting murdered for his crimes. So I can,
Oh, and Princess Leia cameo.
Complaining that she didn't get cast as Princess Leia because she didn't sleep with George Lucas.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For being the funny one. I mean, it tried to... Okay, I think I like 3 better than this one because as stupid as the things that happened in 3 were, at least they were trying to do something different. 5 tries to do all the old stuff but gets it wrong.
Fine. Okay. Objectively, I guess 3 is 3 is better.
No, it's okay. You don't have to, but that's just me. So I got 1, 4, 2, 3, 5.
Either way, 3 and 5 are at the bottom. That's
yes, they are. Just
either
watch.
way, it's like
either way, we all sound like we're terrible at math.
Yes, it does.
We are.
But
that is a fact.
That being said, we want to know what you guys think of Scream 5, okay? It is called Scream. It came out in 2022. It is the 5th in a series. It started in 1996. It is out on streaming now. Check it out. We want to know what you guys think. Let us know in our Facebook and our Instagram. Let us know which ones that turned out to be your favorite. What are your favorite kills? Who are your favorite killers? Or even which one of these movies is your favorite? We're on Facebook and Instagram at Sub-Auteurs Podcast. We have a group, Sub-Auteurs We Like Movies, where we share funny stuff, latest news, updates, and all of our episodes. Please like, subscribe, follow. We want to know what you guys have to say about Scream 5.
Skeeter Ulrich is hot.
We know what you think about Scream 5. You've been talking about it for the last hour.
I will say this, though. It's not the TV series. That was just garbage.
The TV series was just garbage. I swear. It had nothing to do with anything.
Production.
Had nothing to do with anything in this, which is insane.
Nope. Not even the mask, which is the bare minimum.
Yes.
Okay? That was like fucking stupid.
So, sound off and let us know where you stand on Scream 5.
And let us know where you stab.
Oh my god.
Bye.
Bye, Case. Thanks. We're done. We're done. We got some of yours. I'm Misha.
I'm Ai.
I'm Anjo.
Done. We're done. Stab.
Stab. 8.
Stab.
9.
Oh, did you know that the original... You know what the title of the screenplay of Scream 1 was? Scary Movie.
Oh.
They made them change the title because they said nobody's going to fucking watch a movie called Scary Movie.
Only for Scary Movie to be produced.
Exactly. That's why they called it Scary
Scream.
Movie.
Oh my god.
What useless information, but yeah.
Okay.